Hey guys, this is a new series aside from my current indie game project, which is doing fine by the way. And the goal here is to practice speed art a little bit. So each time I set myself a challenge, an art challenge, which I have to complete within exactly 10 minutes. I don't know yet how tight this will be. For the first challenge, I've set myself the modest goal of creating a basic human 2D character. And yeah, besides that, I intend to put all of those assets into a little game just to be a little bit of a showcase of the created assets. All right, so the timer is set, the canvas is blank, no preparation done whatsoever. Let's go. I'm gonna start with a sphere that has some kind of skin color that already wasn't too bad. Let's do this one. And I'm gonna start with the basic head shape. Nose, mouth, chin, neck, and forehead. And let's squeeze it a little bit, and this isn't too bad for the start. The nose is awkward. Something like that. Okay, then let's continue with the eye. Let's start with something like this. And the eyeball, which is going to be very simple. Obviously, most of these graphics, like this character, will be some kind of cartoony look. So the proportions and so on are not that important, I would say. So that's good for me. Let's see. Wow, this doesn't look good yet, but we can adjust this later on if we have time. Let's continue with some eyebrows. Just something very basic like that. Oh man. Let's give this guy a hair color of something like that. Yeah, let's just continue with the hair. I'm using this pen tool here to outline the basic shape of the hair. Just give ourselves a few note points and connect this and remove the stroke and fill it with our hair color. And now I'm going to remove some of those note points in order to get a more round look, because otherwise it would be pretty spiky hairstyle. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's remove. Yeah, why not? Okay. Okay. Continue with the mouth. This is also going to be a very simple mouth because we don't have a lot of time. Well, let's use a little gradient. Just a little indication of the mouth, nothing special going on here. Yeah, good enough. I don't like this thing here. Let's give this guy something like that. This is so hard without any reference at all, but that's part of the practice, I guess. Okay, this was a little bit of over-exaggerated chin, but yeah, I have to move on. Let's continue with the neck. It's just a simple rectangle with one vertical gradient, and here we use a little bit of darker shade of the skin color, and here we just deform it into a neck, sort of like that, and continue with the torso, which is also going to be just outlining the shape very basically, and then removing some of the node points to generate it more of an organic shape. And what is this guy's shirt color? Let's give him something like that, kind of red. Okay. And since this is side view, this doesn't work quite well, but let's continue with the arms. Oh, I know, because that is not correct when you have side view here. So actually Something like that. Not really. Let's see. Yeah. Very basic upper arm. And a little bit of a rectangle with his skin tone. Let's give him some muscles, not too much. Because why would we? And copy, duplicate, and form it into a lower arm. Something like that. And form a very basic hand, or rather a fist, because a hand with fingers and so on is too much of a hassle now. Let's just do something like that, very basic thing. Yeah. This has to be good enough. This doesn't look good. Something like that. Let's rotate this a little bit, because otherwise it looks weird. And a little bit bigger. Yeah, this guy is actually pretty muscular. Why not? Let's duplicate this arm and give him a left arm as well, and continue with the legs. We have 4 minutes 30 left. Should be good enough, I think. Let's give him basic blue jeans. It's always good, since we want to have skeletal animation later on, it's always good to exaggerate on the joints a little bit and have like these round ends. You'll see later on why. Okay, these are not particularly skinny jeans, but also this should go at the very back. A little bit of a tail. And make it a little smaller. Okay. Basic shoes, basic sneakers, let's say. Black sneakers. This is not easy for me. I'm not good with shoes for some reason, but it must be good enough. Something like that. Oh, this is too much. These are way too big. Well, not great, but yeah. Let's continue. Oh, I've forgotten the ear. It's an annoying detail, but it has to be done. Otherwise it looks really weird. Not my favorite thing to model. Yeah, then let's do a little trick. Let's use the difference tool, Control minus, to create something like that. Oh man. A little bit more transparent. And let's duplicate this, remove this part. Oh no. Move this part, and then we have a, hopefully, a very decent ear. Something like that. Oh, okay, and we need a little bit of a gradient in order to stand out. Just a little bit. And this should work. Almost. This has to work. Don't have much more time. This should be a little more like that. This should be more like that. And now we have 2 minutes left, so we can do some basic gradients in order to get a little bit more of a sense of depth here. Something like that. No, something like that. And let's use the same gradient here. And let's use similar technique for the upper body. So a little bit of a darker shade of this and something like this here. Yeah. Okay. This arm should be a little down here. Let's do the same thing here since we have a little bit more time left. No, that looks a little too choppy. And it would be cool to have the same thing actually for the arms. This is a small detail, but it adds, I think, a lot. Okay. Okay, we have 1 minute left. Let's see at the overall proportions. What is that actually? Okay. This guy would need one more leg, I think. He would be glad. Something like that. And let's do a little trick where this is a little darker. Then we can differentiate a little better between the front and the back leg. Okay. Well, the proportions aren't that bad, I would say. I'm not satisfied with the head shape. What can we do here? It's not too bad, but his chin looks kind of weird. And also, the nose is weird. Yeah, that's something. Can we improve it? That's the question. We have 3 seconds left. Oh my god. Okay, it's done. It is done. It is done, and it's not the worst thing I've ever done. For the first time for this 10-minute sprint. Yeah, I'm satisfied with this part. I'm not that satisfied with the face. But yeah, I won't change anything. That's part of the game here. Yeah. Alright, now without the pressure of time, we are going to take this imperfect, but after all in only 10 minutes created character and put it into a little Unity game, animate it a little bit and so on. So now comes a little bit of an annoying part. We have to separate this guy into different layers, and I've already prepared the layers. So basically I'm using a simple model that just uses a upper, lower arm and hand for the right and the left arm, and basically the same setup for the legs, and then just a head and neck and the body. So these are basically the body parts, which we'll just separate into different layers. And after that, the annoying thing is that using Unity's 2D animation package, which is pretty awesome, you kind of have to also use Unity's 2D PSD importer package, which is the Photoshop importer. So the only good way to import your 2D character is using the Photoshop format. And the thing is that Inkscape cannot export PSD Photoshop files with layers directly. So I'm using a workaround. I'm using Adobe Illustrator, which is basically Adobe's vector graphics editor. And this program can, in fact, export Photoshop using the SVG layers, which is pretty handy because that's exactly what you need to import it into Unity. So I'm going to fast forward these steps a little bit because they are rather boring. Alright, so I have exported our character as a PSB file, which is a Photoshop big. It's basically pretty much the same as a usual Photoshop format. So the thing is, this file format contains all of the layers, and I think that's basically pretty much it, what we are using here. And now, this is a clean new Unity 2D project. The only things I did was I've installed 2 packages, the 2D animation and the 2D PSD importer. So if you have got those 2, you can basically just drag the PSB files in. But first, actually, we have to open this thing in our sprite editor, and here we see this is properly separated into a sprite atlas. And here, if we have installed the 2D animation package, we can go to skinning editor, and this is where we can rig our character now. Okay, I think that should be it. Let's see, we can try a few different poses here and see if it works. And I think, yeah, it doesn't look bad. I think we should have fixed it, yeah. Okay, can hit reset pose and hit apply here. And now we should have a fully rigged 2D character which we can start to animate. So next part is we go to animation and make sure that the character root is selected, and then hit create. And I'll just start with a little idle animation. Or actually, let's rather do a simple run, because there we can definitely see if the character, the rig works. Alright, so this is obviously far from a perfect animation, but I've just thrown this together in a very short time without reference, so why not? Let's see. So this is our first actor in our speed art game of imperfect assets. Hopefully the assets are getting better and better as as I'm doing more of these challenges. Yeah, but for now, let's just leave it like it is. Just leave this guy running a bit, and I hope to see you next time when we are, I don't know what challenge it is going to be yet, but hopefully something fun again. So if you like this kind of videos, make sure to subscribe. And until then, have fun creating. Hope to see you next time.